Really the kickoff event that caused the change management effort to begin to form was back in May of 2005. Service was good, we'd met our hiring targets, we were hitting good strong numbers, not realizing that the perfect storm was actually brewing. In January of 2006, we were on the heels of major service problems and poor inspection by the FDA back in May of 2005. The FDA looked at those events as an early warning sign. They came in and it did not go very well. We received a series of 483 observations that we had to address over the next 6 months. When we stepped back from this and said, what the heck just happened to us? We said, we've got to make some change. We've got to make some change radically. And it's got to be across the board. It can't just be a quality initiative. It can't be a back order improvement plan. It can't be an employee relations improvement plan. It has to be change and change management.
Really, the consequences are dire if we don't continue this type of continuous improvement.
The products that we make are taken to relieve pain, to help people, and ultimately the patient is who's important.
If the materials aren't segregated properly, there's always the chance that an item that's on hold or in a quarantine status, if it's mixed with a released item, could end up in the product.
Everything has to be done correctly. We need to keep it clean. We need to keep everything precise. It can't be sloppy.
You shouldn't work here if you don't care about what you're doing.
You can't build quality into a product. It has to be there from the beginning.
I'm doing something for a customer or for the patient.
I think of some of the most successful companies, and they're successful because their employees make decisions, not a management team or someone who isn't doing the activity every single day.
If Brand X down the street is fixing their steps and their processes, and we are not, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that we're going to fall behind, that Brand X is going to become much, much better at producing the product than we are.
It comes a point where we need to change the way we do things. You don't become better doing the same things. You got to continue to change and gain buy-in, get the involvement of the people.
And the change management philosophy is to get to the root cause, identify the resources required to make the change, and then monitor those changes to ensure we don't let things slip.
We came up with critical systems, products, material handling, physical plant, and organizational structure.
The vision for the critical systems pillar is to provide employees with CGMP compliant critical systems for employees to do their job every day.
I'm in charge of the products pillars team, and basically the vision for the team is to provide products and manufacturing processes that meet or exceed all regulatory requirements.
The materials pillar vision is to provide a logical and timely flow of materials from receipt release to finished goods shipping and provide sufficient storage, segregation, and allows for complete identification and status by our employees at all times.
The vision for the physical plant pillar is to provide a compliant, dust-free, comfortable environment with mechanically sound equipment to ensure no cross-contamination or machine-related defects.
I'm the lead of the organizational structure pillar. That pillar is in charge of, in essence, hiring the right people at the right time.
All those things are, when you're thinking about them, they're great problems, but they're big problems. And if they are not dealt with in an appropriate manner, as we're doing with this change management effort, then we will set ourselves up potentially for failure. And that is our biggest fear here.
We want to become world class here, and you don't become world class by doing the same thing you've always done.
We need feedback, we need ideas. If folks are waiting for me to come up with all these ideas, we'll be here a while.
With any continuous improvement effort, the most important thing is to ask the operator.
We want them involved with the training of the manufacturing instructions before they actually do the development batch or the exhibit batch or the validation batch.
They know how the blenders work. They know how the tableting presses work.
They need to help us determine what the right thing to do is so that they're part of the solution, and through that they're empowered and accountable to that solution.
The orientation of new employees has been totally revamped for when they do come on the floor that they should be better off.
We had about 40 different people fill out these surveys from the lab, tableting, and blending, and packaging. Out of that, we also came up with 10 different project ideas that were as a result of these surveys.
One of our employees, Edgar Goff from the tableting department, gave us a suggestion to go through and send 2 people through the warehouse and actually correct problems as we see them before they get to the production departments.
And we've conducted walkthroughs and observations in 6 different areas, talking to different people to kind of get an idea of what's going on, what needs to get fixed.
If I want to put a rack in this location because it makes sense and it allows me to store materials more efficiently, and the team came up with it, or a person driving a forklift came up with it, we'll buy the rack and we'll put it in place. We've already seen some of that.
One of the things we're working towards is giving them the voice to say so, that they need more training, and giving them tools to train on their own using some e-learning solutions that we've identified.
We can improve dust collection and how we process the products, how we move things from the drum into a blender or into a tablet press, or even into a counter on a packaging line.
And our focus is to create more warehouse space, to create segregation between hold and release materials.
We've taken the opportunities to go out and rent an additional Oneonta warehouse space, which we'll be moving into.
The bidding process affects everybody on a daily basis. What job you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and they really need to have that input to do it their way.
By you being involved in developing the batch instructions, we ensure that the process is correct, which makes your job a lot easier.
We've grown immensely. We've built 2 buildings. We're working on the 3rd right now, and then we're also working on a 4th, possibly a smaller 5th one. So I think it's great the more people get involved, the more ideas that people have, and it means that people do want to change and help.
We're also looking at the responsibilities between the production helpers and the warehouse department personnel. In some cases, they share the same goals and the same daily responsibilities, and we're looking to incorporate those into one particular department.
I would want you to be part of the team to help develop the manufacturing instructions to ensure that the process is correct when we go to production.
So we want to hear from people what they think and let them make some of the decisions on their machine on day to day.
The objective of the warehouse is for 100% segregation of hold and release material. The last measurement we took, we did achieve that 100%.
They're hitting timelines, they're hitting objectives. We've got to make the change.
We need people to know what's going on. We're across a large campus here. You're going to see television screens with all kinds of information, safety information, information on production, how we're doing.
This has to be a sustainable effort. This cannot be a flash in the pan or a flavor of the month. This is about changing the way people work.
My ultimate vision is what we call verbatim compliance, where people follow the procedures and instructions we have to the letter. They know why those instructions and procedures say what they do, and when something doesn't look or smell right, they're empowered to stop and ask why.
How many of these steps need to be improved? All of them, eventually. So how many of the people that work in the plant need to be involved in this process? And the answer is absolutely everybody out there.
I'd rather be part of doing it than just be a sort of a victim or the recipient of all this change and then sit back and question, why did they do this or why did this happen to me?
We could dictate and say, we're going to do it this way. But if you don't have that buy-in, it's not going to work.
Without their buy-in, it's us implementing projects in a vacuum, which won't help them out anyway in the long run. So they need to be involved with the project in order for us to complete the project.
And very recently, the FDA came back in and they saw different things.
Nothing was wrong. We were perfect. We were excellent.
We got a much better review from the FDA this time around, but we can't take our eye off the ball.
The continuous improvement that's available through the change management program is what we need and what we need to maintain here long term.
We're ready. We want to defend the systems that we put in place. We know that they're working and we're making good product that any patient is going to be able to use.
There's a lot of people involved, and it's not just the big guys that have the offices downstairs.
At the end of the day, everybody needs to get involved in this. We have to. We cannot let the perfect storm recreate itself. The market isn't changing. Growth is continuing to happen. The teams can't do it alone.
This is the direction we need to head in order to help solve the product's problem.
I kind of thrive on change, so I want to be part of one of the pillars.
My 2 supervisors and my manager are on the physical plant pillar, so it was easy to get involved.
Anyone can become involved in the change management team.
It's everybody in this plant that makes a company what a company is.
I want to be one to help make the changes here and make it a better place.
What we make here is making us world class.
We want to continue to service our customers. We want this place to be the place that people come to and say, I want to do it that way because that's the right way to do it. That's the best way to do it. That's why Hobart's doing it.
Anyone can participate.
It was easy to get involved.
We want you involved.
We need feedback, we need ideas.
We can't get better without their support.
This is the direction we need to head.
Tell us what needs to happen and how to do that.
Bring it to the committee and talk about it.
We're going to need a lot of help.
There's people volunteering.
I know I'm going to make a difference.
I just put my name out there.
If anybody wants to be involved, they can contact their supervisor or
If
superintendent.
you want to see things get better, you got to get involved.
Become a part of change and not just watch change.